Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert Camo, the Fantasy Football Counselor. Got another exciting episode for you. We're talking the best fantasy football wide receivers for 2021, or the top 5 as of right now, just after the draft. Now, I want to do a disclaimer here. There is a ton of other wide receivers that could emerge as fantasy football sleepers. Rashad Bateman, which I'm not talking about here. Josh Palmer, who's on the Chargers. There is a ton of other guys, again, that are sleepers. These are pretty much the top guys that were drafted in the first round. I'm going to review their scenario, the situation, how much volume I think they're going to get, and kind of discuss that scenario. So again, there's a ton of sleepers at wide receiver, and this is why I emphasize Go Robust RB, because any of these guys are going to emerge. If you want to know exactly who I think is going to emerge, get the 16-round draft solution, linked it here below. Right now, guys, or head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com and check this out. If you pre-order or get in right now to the 16-round draft session, if you just order it right now, it's around $24. You are entered for a chance to be in the Listeners League. Yes, the Listeners League. I'm selecting 12 of you guys to be in the Listeners League for a chance to win $500. All you got to do is get 16 rounds. You're automatically entered. The draw is June 6th. We'll announce that, and then we'll do a draft a little bit after that. So get 16 rounds, a win-win, guys. You get a chance to be in the Listeners League for a chance to win $500 and bragging rights, which I'll promote you across my social platforms. And, of course, guys, very important, you're going to win your leagues if you get 16 rounds because it's a game changer. Simple. No more draft kits. A video training below, okay? Secondly, manscaped.com. Use promo code SHOWERLINE. They've got amazing products. The fit and finish is amazing on this. You don't have to worry about nicks and cuts. They got nose trimmers. They've got everything you need to groom and prepare for your dates. I know a lot of people are opening up, a lot of states opening up. Go out there. Have some fun. Go date. But make sure you're groomed while you're doing it. Manscaped.com. Use promo code SHOWERLINE. Save yourself 20%. Go head over there right now. Pause the video. Use promo code SHOWERLINE right now. You'll be very happy. All right. One more request, actually. Leave a thumbs up. It helps the channel. Thumbs up, please, and interact below. I want to hear your comments. Love your concerns. Want to hear about these guys. So I've got a list here of 5 guys. And like I said, we're not limiting it to these guys. There's other guys. I got my depth charts here. We got Rondell Moore, who went to the Cardinals. You never know. He could emerge with Hopkins there, right? You never know. There's a ton of other guys here. Rashad Bateman, which I'm not listed here. We got Terence Marshall Jr. for the Panthers. That could be a factor. Second rounder, 59th overall out of LSU. There's a ton of wide receivers, which I'm going to break down in 16 rounds. I'm going to talk about where to pick them up and if they're worthy of picking up based on position. Still very early. But again, we got to talk about the kind of top 5 that kind of got my attention right off the bat, that could get volume right off the bat and could be significant fantasy factors because they were invested in very early by their teams. First guy I want to talk about is Elijah Moore, okay? Elijah Moore, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He's on the Jets. Now, the Jets don't really have a wide receiver. They just don't. They're not a guy that I trust. Now, if you go back and look at last year's stats, they need a wide receiver. They need a guy that could be the one. I talked to my friend, Official Jets Central, Ian. If you guys aren't following Fan to Fan, head over to Fan to Fan Network. The website's got all the top ambassadors from every team. So Ian, I was talking to him, and he's saying that maybe Elijah is going to play out of the slot, but he should get some work. He was a second-round pick, 34th overall out of Ole Miss. This guy, had a pretty decent year, 1,193 yards last year out of college, 8 touchdowns. He's going to be used. He's possibly going to be a weapon. A lot of this is predicated. So let me take a look here at the depth charts because, again, the depth chart is going to make a difference. Is how much volume the other guys are going to get. Judging by the wide receivers there, Corey Davis, is he true wide receiver 1? Not really. I'm not sold on him. Jameson Crowder, Denzel Mims, none of these guys have proven that they can do it, right? So Elijah Moore has an opportunity to really emerge. A lot of this, again, is predicated on Zach Wilson, new young team, new offense, Michael Carter at running back, who could be a sleeper at running back. Go back and check my running back episode. A lot of uncertainty, but this guy's pretty much probably going to be free in your drafts. You can get him for free later on. I got to see where his ADP is going to fall, but he's probably going to go undrafted in many leagues, right? And he could emerge. That's all I'm saying. So you got to look at opportunity, and there could be a chance. Am I drafting him? Probably not, but keep him on your radar, right? A guy that could emerge, but could be a waiver wire wonder, right? Any of these guys could be a waiver wire wonder because the mainstream won't put them high on their rankings because they don't do that to wide receivers yet. Last year, I suggested, again, going back to 16 rounds, I suggested you guys get Justin Jefferson round 8 in my 16-round draft solution. 16 rounders, you know what I'm talking about, right? Thousands of you guys that listen benefit. Now Jefferson's a top 10 guy, right? You got to spot the talent before it breaks out, skate to where the puck is going. That's what we're doing. We're looking, analyzing, and kind of looking at the scenario there. All right, another guy that could emerge, I don't know if the opportunity is going to be there as much for him, not as good potentially as Elijah Moore, but you never know. Kadarius Toney, Giants, first-round pick. Now, we know Sterling Shepard has had years to wow us. We're not wowed. Their offense just has not looked good offensively when they're looking at wide receivers. So is that going to continue? It would have if they didn't draft Kadarius Toney, who could emerge. They've got Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. They brought in John Ross. They got Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay is going to be a factor. Probably a lot of touchdowns. Possibly a lot of this, again, the weight goes back on the quarterback. And these wide receivers, a lot of their impact is going to be based on what the quarterback does and how he's going to gel with them. So that's why I'm not 100% sure. But opportunity, sure, yes, it's a bit of a wide receiver committee. But again, Slayton and Shepard haven't done anything. So Kadarius Toney could really emerge as the wide receiver 2 there with Galladay, or could be a high-volume guy. 984 yards, 10 touchdowns his last season in college out of Florida, 6 foot, 193 pounds. We don't know. We're just going basically on scouting reports that he's good. We invested first round capital on him. That's good. The Giants believe in him. We know that Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton is bad. You don't want to overcomplicate this. All you want to do is look at the scenario, see if you can get him for value in your fantasy football draft, and consider him as a guy that could potentially break out. Again, a lot of this weight goes on Daniel Jones. He's finally got the weapons. A healthy Saquon, a slightly improved O-line, and then you've got, a round 1 receiver with Kenny Galladay. The sky's the limit here for Daniel Jones. A lot of it weighs on him, but Kadarius Toney, a guy you definitely want to consider possibly as a sleeper. We're going to look at that. I'm going to dive in more. That's why I got to subscribe as things develop, training camp goes, as we dive more into this, okay? And get 16 rounds, which I'll explain more. Again, that's why I love 16 rounds, because I lay it out for you guys. I don't know how to make it much easier than laying it on a silver platter for you guys, but it's really going to help you. All right, next guy here is Jalen Waddell. Hopefully Waddell. Guys, don't ask me to try to pronounce people's names right, because I'm terrible at that, okay? All right, now, round 1, he was drafted 6th overall out of Alabama. Miami Dolphins have themselves a weapon. But, again, another committee. We got Preston Williams. They got Devontae Parker. They brought in Will Fuller there. And a lot of question marks with Tua Tagovailoa. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I call him Tagovailoa, whatever. Now, Tua, we're not going on much here. Again, with the other guys, Daniel Jones, we've got a little bit to go on, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Hopefully that improves. Again, we can make excuses that people weren't on the field. We've got a good sense of him. With Elijah Moore, we don't know with the young rookie quarterback. Now, when we are looking at Waddell, there's still question marks with Tua. 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. What are we going off? How much yards did he throw for? 1,814 yards. 10 games. I haven't seen enough to make me feel warm and fuzzy about Tua. Although the upside is there potentially. There's talk about a possible quarterback battle there. Listen, I think Tua's going to get the start. There's no question about that. Well, there's a question, but I think Tua's going to get the start. But is Jalen going to get the volume? First round, he's quick off the line. He's 5'9", 180 pounds. I can read all the scouting reports I can read here. He's explosive. He's consistent. He's got sticky hands. Whatever. All that matters is he going to get the volume? Because I think all these receivers are capable. It just matters on if they're going to get the volume, if they're going to get the touches, if they're going to get the looks. Is that, quarterback chemistry going to gel? But this is a year where a lot of these wide receivers could emerge and be super fantasy relevant. There's a ton of talent. There's a ton of opportunity. There's a ton of youth coming in with young quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks coming in with these wide receivers. It's going to be very interesting to see. But one thing to consider, and a tip here, you got to look at the wide receivers around him. If they've had years to wow you're not wowed, there's probably a good opportunity that wide receiver is going to emerge. And again, I see Kadarius Toney emerging because, again, Shepard hasn't wowed us, right? Slayton hasn't wowed us. Kenny Galladay, yeah, but we saw last year Jefferson succeed with, Thielen there, right? So there still is an opportunity for Waddell to really be a contributor. And I understand, guys, if these teams invest high draft capital in a receiver, that could be good as well. And if it's a young quarterback, that quarterback could really gel with that receiver. And again, a lot of these guys are pairing up with guys that were in college, right? So you're going to get that connection again from these guys. Now, Alabama here, Jalen Waddell, guess what? Guess where Tua was from? Alabama. They played together. So that's another good thing to look at. So again, there is a connection there potentially, and that's something you definitely want to look at, okay? Next guy here, another suspect situation, but great wide receiver is out of Alabama. Again, Devonta Smith, right? And Jalen Hurts, yet again. There could be a connection there. We don't know. Youth with both of these guys, is it going to be a connection? Is Jalen Hurts going to connect with Devonta Smith? Is this going to be something good? I haven't seen enough out of Jalen Hurts to be sold on him, right? I don't know. I don't know. So when you look at Jalen Hurts, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, I don't know. Like, I'm not sold on him being that fantastic yet. Eagles, I mean, there's an opportunity for Devonta Smith to easily be the wide receiver 1. The Eagles kind of suck at wide receiver. I mean, I don't even know who they got right now. Like, their wide receiver core, like, this is a team that I just wouldn't even touch. Who is it? Like, is Alshon Jeffrey still there? Like, nobody cares because I never draft people from the Eagles. So, again, who's he competing with? Jalen Rigor. They brought him in last year. What did he do? Travis Fulgham, right? Like, that's how much I don't care about these guys. What did they do last year? So, Devonta Smith, I was just joking around about Jeffrey, though. Round 1, number 10 overall. He's a high capital on the team. They're going to use him. So, looking at the depth chart, he could be the one. A lot of this is predicated on Jalen Hurts and what he's going to do. But I see Devonta Smith easily being the number 1 there. A guy that was a beast in college, 1,856 yards last year. I love him. I love the upside. But Eagles, do I trust them? That's going to be the drawback. We're going to have to see where his ADP falls. But again, quick off the line, you can read all the scouting reports on him. Great route runner, sticky hands. He's going to get it done. But do I trust him? I don't know. I don't trust Jalen Hurts. But a lot of people say in the mainstream saying Jalen Hurts is going to be a top 10 guy. I'd rather have a Justin Herbert or someone like that. I'm not sold on Hurts, okay? All right, last guy here I want to talk about here is Jamar Chase, opted out of the 2020 season. There's a ton of upside with this guy. I mean, he was drafted in the first round, 5th overall, ahead of all these other guys. Obviously the Bengals see something in him. Burrow got hurt last year. We didn't see much of Burrow other than 10 games. In those 10 games, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2,688 yards. It's a sample size. We saw some connection there with T. Higgins. T. Higgins is going to be there. Jamar Chase could be the one there. Smooth, explosive, great hands, great speed, vision. He crosses all the T's, dots all the I's. 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns in his 2019 season because he opted out of the 2020. 6 foot, 200 pounds, prototypical, looks good. I mean, again, is Burrow going to stay healthy coming off injury? Is this guy going to be his number 1 target? I think he is. I think that obviously very high draft capital, but again, there's just so many, like with all of this going on here, there's just so many question marks surrounding this, right? And that's why in 16 rounds, I said, go robust RB. You want to secure those running backs with minimal committees. You want to get some safe wide receivers, and then you can gamble on some of these wide receivers that could break out and be a top 10, top 15, top 20 wide receiver. You can do that. But you got to get that security first, and then you can start gambling and playing here. And any one of these 5 guys I mentioned are great sleepers later that have the potential to succeed, okay? Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddell, Kadarius Toney, Elijah Moore, all guys that were, high draft capital on those teams, and teams that have wide receivers that haven't really wowed us. They're not going into, situations where they're going to be competing with Kenny Galladay is really good, but they're not going to be going up against necessarily Julio Jones. But here's the deal. Calvin Ridley has thrived with Julio Jones there, right? A lot of these guys tend to thrive if that older veteran wide receiver that's a consistent guy gets hurt or whatever it may be, or just is on a steady decline, right? So, again, sleepers, massive upside, but I wanted to give you guys kind of a scope and overview of the possible best wide receivers for fantasy in 2021. But again, anyone like Josh Palmer, right? 3rd rounder from the Chargers with Herbert could connect because Mike Williams isn't that good, right? So open your mind up, guys. Open it up. And trust me, there's a ton of depth at wide receiver, a ton of value that you can get that are going to be, receivers are going to put up consistent points, and some boomer bust guys throughout the weeks, okay? So subscribe, guys, thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think. Which wide receiver do you really like that's going to get a lot of volume, that could be a huge fantasy contributor? Leave the comments below and smash that thumbs up and get 16 rounds, guys, and you're entered. Everyone gets entered for a chance to be in the Listeners League. 12 people head-to-head for a chance to win $500. Guys, do that right now. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon. I'm out.